This was one of those moments where you suddenly realize you're no longer at the top of the food chain, and it happened under a ship that wasn't even supposed to be here. This wasn't supposed to happen. In 1984, authorities searched a Dutch freighter sitting in Bonaire's harbor. Behind a false bulkhead, they found 25,000 pounds of marijuana. The crew got arrested. The owners never showed up. She rotted at the dock until the government decided to sink her as an artificial reef. But first, they had to get rid of the evidence. They burned all 25,000 pounds of pot on the north end of the island. The smoke was so thick that Curacao, the island next door, called Bonaire and
What are you doing? Everyone is getting high over here. Put the fire out.
Aruba called too. They weren't mad about the smoke, they were mad because they couldn't smell it. A local diving legend, Captain Don, and the dive community handpicked this exact sandy channel to be her final resting place. The problem? International law. Because she was a drug runner, the government wasn't legally allowed to scuttle her while the case was open. So they towed her out to this anchor spot to wait out the red tape. But the dive community did not wait. 5 days later, her pumps mysteriously failed and she went down in 2 minutes flat, right where Captain Don wanted her. He never told me he did it. He never said he didn't.
That's the story of the Helma Hooker.
I've dove the Helma Hooker at least 30 times, but I've never once gone all the way through her. My safety diver Max has dove the Hooker hundreds of times. Pun absolutely intended. He knows this wreck like his own backyard. Today, he was taking us deep into the belly of the ship. Through the bridge, down the narrow hallways, deep inside the steel hull, we found something eerie. An air chamber, a pocket of trapped oxygen that's been sealed in the dark for over 40 years. We spit out our regulators, surfaced inside the pocket of the old drug runner, and just talked in the pitch black by flashlight. Diving is strange, beautiful, and slightly terrifying. That's why I love it. Then we passed this, a small, simple plaque left for a diver who made this exact same dive and would not come back. The wreck doesn't care how many times you've done this. It hit me harder than I expected. We just kept moving, straight toward the exit door at the bottom. At the bottom of the passage was a door, just a stark steel frame with open blue water on the other side. Max looked through it first, and then he turned around hard. He signaled, "Camera, get your camera. Come here right now." Right there, hanging under the stern like he owned every square inch of the ocean, was the largest great Barracuda I have ever seen in all of my years of diving. 6 feet 3 inches. He didn't move. He didn't flinch. He didn't even blink. He just hung there, long, silver, and perfectly still, like something carved right out of the water itself. And then I noticed the remore attached underneath him. Remores don't usually waste their time on small reef fish. They attach to apex predators, sharks, mantas, whale sharks, animals massive enough to generate a slipstream and produce real leftover food. In 30 dives on this wreck, I had never seen a Barracuda big enough to carry a remore. We hung together for a while under the rusted steel, and then he moved, not away from me, out into the open ocean. I followed him into the blue, just the two of us, a 6-foot dinosaur and me, 33 meters down, moving through the open water like old friends. Barracudas aren't what Hollywood made them out to be. They are precise, not reckless. They can accelerate to 35 miles an hour when they strike. But this one wasn't hunting. He was just cruising, showing me his world on his terms. And then he decided visiting hours were over. He turned and started right back toward the stern. The problem was, Max was hovering right in the middle of his highway. Now, in the footage, you don't see all of Max. You just see his hands, you see his fins, both of them working as hard as humanly possible to be anywhere else on the planet Earth except here right now. This is Max, the guy who dove this wreck hundreds of times, the guy who guides us through a pitch black air chamber without blinking, the guy who passes a memorial in total silence without missing a single beat. Max absolutely did not want any part of the Barracuda. If you've ever tried to laugh underwater, you know it's a great way to drown. I laughed so hard into my regulator, I nearly choked on my mouthpiece. The Barracuda didn't even notice him. He just kept going, calm, unbothered, right back under the stern, where the whole thing started. I followed him back in. He moved along the hull until he found his spot, a tight gap in the wreckage, a space in the old steel far too narrow for me to follow. He slipped through it, and just like that, he was gone. This was his home, his corner of the wreck. And when the visit was over, he went right back to the part of it that no one else could reach. This ship was never supposed to be here, but she is. And because she is, 40 years of coral reef grew. 40 years of marine life moved in. 40 years of this specific stretch of water becoming something extraordinary. One massive, unbothered Barracuda found it. He didn't know the local politics. He didn't know about Captain Don. He didn't care about the smoke drifting toward Curacao 40 years ago. He just knew this was good water. And he was right. We go below so you can understand what's worth saving above. If you've ever done the Helma Hooker, drop your story in the comments. If you've ever met the king of the stern, drop your story in the comments. You already know exactly what I mean. Hit that subscribe button. We go where most dive channels don't. We'll see you here next time on Undersea G.